Car projects are a true adventure.
Why? Why? Because we can!
There's no set path. It's about embracing the twists and turns and finding creative solutions. Welding will throw you curves. Everyone fights it.
Because we can!
Heat shrinks, twists, and warps metal, period. I fight it, you fight it, we all fight it. Show me an experienced fabricator who's good at metal shrinking and shaping, and I'll show you someone who's fought their fair share of battles. Take the Firewall, for example. Got a little cocky, figured I'd practice my TIG welding when I attached the DSC bracket. Boy, was I rusty. I've learned to be a much more patient welder and to better manage heat. Also learned some cool new shrinking stretching techniques. Let's see what I get myself into on this one. A lot of time and effort goes into making something like this, so before you risk screwing it up, best to double check. Validation is key in my brain, as I'm fond of saying. I made sure I have full pedal movement, a nice flush fit against the smooth Firewall. I even contoured this transition piece around the pedal bracket, and the vintage air bracket clears with a little modification. The plan is to tack the pieces in place, cut and butt weld it all together, then weld it out and make it seamless. Prevention is better than cure, and in a similar vein, it's best to plan your weld up in a way that'll minimize the impact of warpage. You know to minimize heat by controlling the size and spacing of your tack welds rather than making continuous bead welds. You know fixturing and clamping your pieces also helps to control distortion. Here the tube, folds, curves, and screws all work in my favor. We'll make cuts along the center line radius of the tube. Place tacks along the edge and space them out a few inches to control heat. On the inside face, these relief cuts will eventually get trimmed off. I'll tack between them to help anchor things in place. Now do the same at this lower piece. I'm not going to join these two pieces together just yet. I'm going to weld out these top two pieces and the bottom two. This way I'll have some flexibility when I bring it back together. And equally as important, these two pieces will be a lot more manageable to cut and butt weld and fully dress before I bring the assembly together. Now I can remove the tube. And separate the pieces. Now cut through the first tack and both layers of metal to the next tack. Lay a new tack. Repeat the process and work your way across. Unlike a reality TV show, no manufactured drama here to raise the stakes. Here's the back piece. Just got to clean up a couple more tacks, but everything's cut and butt together, looking really good. I'm going to repeat the process on the front two pieces. Front piece done, cut and tacked together. Got a little tricky in the corner Getting my cutoff wheel around that tight radius, I hit a couple screw holes and lobbed off a bit of the section pieces. So it'll be a bit of a challenge to fill in some gaps. But for the most part, you see here on the straight run, nice and tight. Again, a little loose in the corner, hitting some screw holes, and then again, tightened up along the straight edge. To manage heat, I'm going to use a backstep technique. I'll weld left to right, but I'll deposit each bead segment right to left. I put down 4 tacks. Then cool with air. As each bead segment is placed, the heated edges expand, temporarily separating the sheets. Successive beads cause the tacks to expand less and less because of the restraint that the prior welds cause. This technique works great, but you got to take your time. You can see a well-managed heat-affected zone. Gaps filled, looking good. On this piece, I'm going to fill the relief cuts first. Not bad. Those 2 gaps remain, and really it's like half a thumbnail. I'm not going to cut a piece in and try and fit it and weld it. I put a copper backing plate there, and I'm just going to take my time, infill it with weld, 4 tacks, cool, 4 tacks, cool, fill in the gap. Okay, hole filled. Just a piece of copper pipe that I flattened out and can flex to fit. That'll grind out no problem. Okay, I can finish welding with that backstep technique, and I'll bring you back. Both components welded out, but before I grind and dress them, there's a major fitment issue I need to take care of back on the car. If you follow the channel, you know that I'm a firm believer that opportunities live where things come together. It's the architect in me. For this cross tube concept to work, it needs to sit tight and flush against the smooth firewall and the toe board and torque box, like it does here on the passenger side. I got to reshape the driver's side torque box and move this connection point forward. It's the key to it all. The completed hump assembly is back in the car for final installation. So close. I validated the fit, then welded the hump assembly together, and prepped the toe boards and hump area for welding. I'm going to follow the exact same welding process, tack the assembly in place, cut and butt tack, ensuring the surfaces are flush, then backstep weld and marry the custom transmission hump in place. This adventure all started with a decision to go with a smooth firewall and a Tremec T56 Magnum 6-speed. At the time, did I know the full impact of those decisions? Did I plan on taking things this far? Hindsight is 2020. Would I go down this path again, knowing what I know now? Yeah, I would. But I'm the kind of guy who's up for an adventure. Sometimes you gotta get out of your head and just set things in motion and trust yourself. And as I'm fond of saying, it's a process and you work through it. I'm extremely pleased with the results. Not gonna install the firewall yet, but I've trimmed things back as far as I can go now. Can't weld in the cross tube either until I reconcile the connection back to the cage. And it's no accident that I've left the cowl for last. Great opportunity percolating that'll take advantage of all this available real estate. Say hi in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Till next time, cheers.